What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my guest at this time live on YouTube and on Twitch. Jose Gonzalez here. I am excited. It is Royal Rumble Day. I just finished watching Effie's Big Gay Brunch, which was a great show. If you have a Trailer Plus, Fight TV, go check it out. Support LGBT wrestling. Say gay. Do all the things. I am so excited for this. Hi, Michael. I'm being joined by wrestling media correspondent extraordinaire. You've seen her on WrestleZone. You've seen her for Wrestling Inc. You've seen her for SEScoops. You might have seen her on her own show, A Wrestling Gal. The one and only Ella J. Ella, how are you?
I'm fantastic. It's my favorite pay-per-view of the year. There's so much going on. I mean, there's so much going on today. And this weekend. So it's a little bit of a bittersweet thing right now, but I think we're in for a treat tonight for the Royal Rumble, the pay-per-view, the PLE itself anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Rumble's just one of those things where it's a staple of the wrestling calendar,
Yeah.
regardless of what promotions you like. I feel like everybody always kind of has an eye on the Royal Rumble just because it's the uncertainty, it's the unpredictability, it's the fact that there's so many things that go into a great Royal Rumble match that doesn't necessarily even involve the winner half the time. So, I mean, why don't we get into a little bit of some fun stuff? So, I mean, Ella, can you tell me about your favorite Royal Rumble match of all time?
I think of all time, just off the top of my head, it has to be the first one that I ever saw. I mean, actually, it was the first WWE pay-per-view I ever watched live. It was the 2010 Royal Rumble where Edge came back. I was being introduced to so many new players and new faces because I'd only been watching really SmackDown at that point, so I didn't know all the Raw guys. But Edge coming back, from an Achilles heel injury, then going on to win the entire thing, and then going on to WrestleMania. I mean, that was the first one I ever saw, and yeah, I think that's probably what got me hooked on it. So I think that one. There's so many other ones though too. Rey Mysterio 2006 is a wholesome one.
Yeah, 2006 is one of mine
Right
too.
after Eddie Guerrero passed away, and then Rey at the time got the record, went all the way from number 2 to the winner. So that 2006 too as well is a really good one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as far as the memorable ones go, 2006 and 2008 stand out to me. I mean, Rey Mysterio having that Cinderella story from start to finish, but Royal Rumble 2008 was actually the first pay-per-view I ever. Actually, no, it was the second pay-per-view I've ever gotten to order growing up. So I got to watch that with my cousins and everything. They came over, seeing John Cena return at number 30. It was at Madison Square Garden. Yeah. It was just a feel-good Royal Rumble. It was exciting. That's one that's always stuck with me for the men. As far as the women go, I mean, it has been so hard to top the 2018 or the 2021 Rumbles for me for the women. It's just, I'm a sucker for nostalgia, but it just, to know everything that we had to endure for so long for them to get that opportunity and just see them take the ball and run with it. Those are the two that always stick out to me. Because I mean, you have great winners, you have great returns. It's just a really fun Royal Rumble match, and I'm super excited to see what comes of either one of these Rumbles this year, because there's going to be surprises and everything.
I wish the 2021 women's was just in front of a crowd. You had so many surprise legends on that match. Victoria, Jillian Hall, Alicia Fox was there too as well.
Yep,
Tori Wilson. That was such a fun one. So I mean, hopefully we get some legends, and I think we'll get at least one legend in this year.
I think so too.
Well, the women's also has more room, so it's guaranteed we're going to be getting some legends.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see how that turns out. But I mean, also, the Royal Rumble pay-per-view is not just Royal Rumbles, obviously. There's always going to be the iconic non-Rumble matches. So do you have any standouts from watching the events over the years, Ella?
Yeah, so the first thing that comes to mind is, I think the one that actually made me a Sasha Banks fan. Ironically, this match 2019, I was not initially her first few years on the main roster. I was not the biggest Sasha Banks fan, but 2019, her and I think it was Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship. I also just went in that match despising Ronda, so I was rooting for Sasha by default, but really that it made me a fan of Sasha Banks because she's so good. And that was also during a time where Ronda actually looked like she cared about what she was doing and was actually invested in it. So I think that's an underrated match from like the Royal Rumble. I remember that, Ronda had been on a tear as the Raw Women's Champion, and Sasha stepping up, made her look really good. So that's just the first one that comes to mind. When I think of Rumble, I think of the Rumble matches. So there's not really like offhand I can think of like non-Rumble matches from a Royal Rumble that really stand out to me, without it being in like recent years, Um,
Yeah, I mean,
last year,
granted,
Sammy turning on
yeah,
like Roman was a great moment,
that was
but the
huge. Yeah.
match itself was predictable.
Yeah, I feel like for me, like just I mean, obviously I've watched a little longer than you, so I kind of have more to dig from. Like
Yeah.
standout matches for me, I mean, for the men's, one that I always think about was 24 was it 2014 or was it 2015 where it was Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan.
Oh
And that
yeah.
no, it was
That would
2015
that would have
because
been
that was the year
2015.
that D-Bry was only in the Rumble, I think, for 10 minutes, and they booed the living hell out of Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Like, even The Rock couldn't save it. Like, that was a fantastic opener. And then another one that I always think about is going back to Rumble 2006 again, Mickie James versus Ashley Massaro with Trish as the special guest referee.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of Ashley's best matches. It told a great story. We got to see the progression of Mickie getting more and more obsessed with Trish, telling her she loved her right before Trish was coming out to call the match. It just really fun, like non-title women's match at the Rumble. And then for the camp factor, one that sticks out to me is Dawn Marie versus Tori Wilson in a stepmother versus stepdaughter match from the
Oh my
Rumble
god.
2003. Oh, you know what? Michael's saying Mickey versus Michelle at Rumble 2010. It was a squash, but it had to be a squash. It
That
was
was like
so
30
good.
seconds. Yeah. Yes, that was the culmination of that feud. Mickey had beaten Michelle for the women's championship after enduring this, grueling bullying storyline. It was only a 30-second one, but Mickey did win. She unfortunately lost it like 27 days later though. So that one's a little bit
Bittersweet.
marred for me. It is bittersweet. Yeah. Yeah, that was the culmination. Again, that was also the first Rumble pay-per-view that I ever saw. So yeah, that is another one.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that we're kind of talking about this. I mean, you have people associated with certain pay-per-view events. Like I think I don't know if like Shawn Michaels also like not only Mr. WrestleMania, but it also gets called Mr. Survivor Series. I'd say for the moments that she's had alone, it's kind of hard to say that Mickie James could not be Miss Royal
Mhm.
Rumble. I mean, she's had those stellar singles matches, and who could forget the history-making return she had in 2022, coming out as the TNA Knockouts
Mhm.
World Champion, coming out to Hardcore Country, the stadium unglued. I wish that stayed a surprise because that pop would have been even more
I
euphoric, I
know.
guarantee it. But it's just, wow. I mean, I can only imagine what is in store for this year. So, kind of going into before we get into our predictions for tonight, I did also just kind of want to reminisce a little bit more because we're talking Rumble history. So I want to talk to you, Ella, a Rumble with the right winner.
With the right winner. Mm.
Because there's one that immediately comes to mind for me. I'm sure it will come to mind as soon as I say it. It's 2019, Becky Lynch.
Yeah, I wish they would have done it differently though. Like I
Mhm.
hate the way they did it was so lame. Like you didn't need to do the whole Lana thing. You could have literally just had her enter it like
Yeah.
normal. That made it also very obvious that she was winning. I get it, it was the brink. Yeah, I can agree that it was the right choice that year, but the way they did it though was so extra for no reason.
Mhm. No, I feel that. Like that's just like I feel like if she actually entered in, I know they kind of had the whole thing with was a mismatch challenge where the winning teams became number 30 in the Rumbles. So
Yeah, and then
I,
Truth got taken out by Nia Jax. Yeah.
yeah, I mean that was a moment in time. So I mean they could have probably done it. Oh, Bianca in 2021 is a good one too.
Yeah.
So that is a good point, Michael. Still say 2019 should have been a double winner. I feel like if they tried to do the Batista John Cena thing, they probably would have failed because it's too intricate to really do successfully. It is so hard to do like a double battle royal like elimination. I feel like the one that was like pretty close is when they had Gigi and JC do it in NXT, but it also wasn't like super side by side. It was like different sides of the ring where they could actually like argue it a little bit more. But I'm trying to think. I
I'm
mean, Rey
I'm
Mysterio.
gonna s- I'm gonna say 2020. Drew McIntyre. Um you know, that at that point, what, Brock was champ? Yeah. Drew had come back from WWE, you know, being gone. He had been a babyface initially, but then he turned heel, then he was back babyface. I think Drew beating Brock, I mean, granted, the WrestleMania again got kind of scuffed because of the COVID pandemic, but I think Drew McIntyre, that really elevated him. It really was validation for the work that he had put in to reinvent himself, leave WWE, reinvent himself, come back as a top guy who could carry a brand and carry a championship and be really the flag bearer of the pandemic era. Granted, this was before the pandemic era, but I think it really set the stage. That was the time to capitalize on Drew McIntyre. So I think I have to say 2020. And also, that was the year that, like, Brock, was that the year that Brock, like, blew through everybody?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, Brock, like, blew through everybody. And then Drew coming back. Yeah, I have to say Drew. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the last few years, like, they've actually done pretty good with choosing the right winners. I feel like Rhea was a good one last year.
Yeah.
Going back to 2021, Bianca and Edge were both good options. 2018, Asuka and Shinsuke were both good options. 2006, Rey Mysterio was the right winner. Shoot, I'm trying to think what else would be like another good Rumble. I mean, 97, I mean, Austin winning, because that was like Stone Cold, like peak Stone Cold. That makes total sense to me. But I mean, with every right winner of the Royal Rumble, there is a wrong winner of the Royal Rumble.
2022 for 2-0 in 2022 for that category. I mean, there was other ways to get to Brock and Roman that year. You know, earlier in the night, Brock had lost the WWE Championship to Bobby Lashley, and then he enters the Rumble and wins it just to go challenge for another title. That didn't make who did I think was win? I think that Big E was winning that year. But then that was right before he got injured. I don't remember who my choices. I think my choices that year for winners were Alexa and Big E. I think. I don't remember who else was like towards the front, like Daniel Bryan, but also like that was the year that people were thinking Daniel Bryan, it was his last time. So I know people were cheering for him, but like you could have gone so many other different ways to land Brock and Roman. He didn't
actually, no, Bryan was already in AEW.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, Brock Lesnar, you could have gotten to Brock and Roman without him winning the Rumble, I feel.
You also could have gotten to Charlotte versus Ronda without winning the Rumble. If anything, I thought Bianca was going to win it back-to-back years because of the story that they were setting up with her and Becky. I mean, it's kind of a toss-up because technically both of those matches you could have gotten there without the Rumble, but ultimately you do need someone to win the Rumble to go to WrestleMania. So it's just kind of like, do we have the facilitator or like what do we do here? So
then again,
honestly, 2022, I thought it was going to be Sasha Banks.
Yeah, because again, she was coming off of injury. Yeah, she was coming off of injury, and her announcement was like late. It was the day before that they announced it on SmackDown that she was going to be in it because she was recovering from like a month-long injury. People didn't even think she was going to be in it. She entered at number 1, only lasted until I think until number 7.
Zelina Vega eliminated her, I think, number 8.
Yeah. So she got eliminated like really early. I thought, Sasha was definitely a front runner that year as well. But you know,
I mean, 2022, the Women's Rumble was a year that had just odd eliminations at odd times, like Melina going out instantly.
I know.
Like, it just, the pacing was off with that one. That for sure.
I feel like on paper, like, winner aside, on paper, like it could have been great, stacked. You know, it was stacked. But like there was a lot of great moments. Like Ivory was great too, you know, Sasha and Melina starting it out, but a lot of the booking decisions in that match was just like, what is going on?
Yeah, or I mean, if Mickey could have won that, maybe not even challenging for a championship, but defending hers was something that I always said too.
Yeah, they had a good callback though with Mickey eliminating Michelle and then Lita eliminating Mickey.
Yeah, no, they did a good job with the history there. You might not like me for saying this, but 2020 Charlotte should not have won. That should have been Shayna Baszler.
I can understand that, and I think it was going to be Shayna Baszler, but I think I remember reports that year of them wanting to not be as obvious that year, so they put it on Charlotte. But I can see that year, Shayna started off hot. Didn't Shayna ended up winning Chamber that year anyway?
Yeah, that was the year that
Um,
Shayna swept the Chamber that like no
yeah,
one liked at all because it was
yeah,
just the
yeah,
timing for it was terrible. If she's gonna run through everybody, have her come out last.
yeah. Yeah. I think people thought Shayna was going to, but then WWE wanted to be a little bit more unpredictable, so they gave it to Charlotte that year, from what I recall.
But the thing that
Uh,
gets me is that not only did Charlotte not need the win, but it was also the first time anyone who's won the Royal Rumble has challenged for a third brand's title. Like no
yeah.
one ever challenged for anything for ECW. No one challenged for NXT until now.
I mean, that was also a cool moment though, it paved the way to where you can challenge for NXT if you want,
Yeah.
It elevated, granted, Rhea lost, but that match at
Mhm.
Mania was really good. Besides,
If it was in front of a crowd, man, I'm
yeah,
telling you, that would have been a
yeah.
huge
It
moment.
elevated, Rhea, the NXT Women's Championship. Io then took the title off of Charlotte in that three-way. So yeah, I think Charlotte, you know what? I don't know if I disagreed that might have been the wrong winner because it elevated, Rhea and gave Rhea a moment and the NXT Women's Championship. I think Shayna going through Chamber though was another great way to get her there. But I do agree it could have been Shayna.
Yeah. So, and then the only time an NXT championship was challenged by a Rumble winner and defended at Mania.
Yeah.
So far, at least, yes.
Yeah.
Do I think it'll happen again? Who's to say? I mean, Becky Lynch has had a nice little run
Mhm.
as the NXT Women's Champion, so I've learned to never say never.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think the aftermath of Charlotte winning the Rumble paid off. Yeah, I guess that's valid because it kind of like put NXT on a pedestal for a little bit, which
Yeah.
I think was nice. I mean, obviously, no one saw the pandemic coming.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, we kind of did, but
Yeah.
just to the point of how quickly things escalated. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, that'll probably do it with me for 2011 Alberto Rio. If you know, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
40 men for what?
Santino Morel was robbed.
Oh god, can you imagine? Like that would have been it didn't have to be him winning a title, but damn it, that would have been a fun little story.
I know, yeah, yeah, especially in the 40 because it was a 40 man. It was at the time the biggest.
And also my thing is like we've had it where people have lost their Rumble opportunities at WrestleMania and matches at the following pay-per-view before.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton.
Mhm.
But that'll kind of do it for our little deep dives of Rumbles prior. Let's get into some predictions for tonight. Starting with we have a United States Championship match. We have Logan Paul defending his US Championship against the one and only Kevin Owens. Ella,
This
take it away.
this this may be the only match that we agree on prediction wise. I'm just saying that right now. WrestleMania season is all about bringing in more eyes, celebrities. Logan Paul just revealed that he renewed his contract, suggesting it's now a full-time thing. So I think Logan Paul is going to be heading into WrestleMania 40 with the United States Championship, maybe against LA Knight. So therefore, I believe Logan Paul
Do it for
is
the Puerto
going
Ricans.
to retain tonight.
Sarah Lamb, we're doing good. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. But yeah, no, I'm thinking Logan's probably going to retain. I'm sure
Mhm.
Kevin's going to make him look like $1 million tonight. Him renewing a contract, I don't think when he sets full time, I don't think it's going to be like Ronda when she was actually full time, like doing
Yeah.
house shows, weekly
Mhm.
TV. I feel like he's just going to show up once a month and say, like, oh, here's the belt. Here goes the belt. Here's the belt. Here goes the belt. I'm sure it's going to be a fine match because he
Mhm.
delivers when he is in the ring, as much
Yeah.
as I don't care for him personally, but to each their own. But I feel like this is kind of a one-sided, like you can see where it's going. So
Yeah, I just also want to know though, like, how does Logan? I don't see Logan beating KO clean. There's gonna be like some hijinks, whether it's like KSI or maybe Jake Paul or something. I don't see Logan beating Kevin clean. Like maybe he sneaks a weapon in as the referee isn't looking, but I don't see KO losing clean here.
also, to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Logan Paul has had a clean win yet, has he?
Did he beat Ricochet by cheating? SummerSlam?
I think so.
Did he might have pulled his tights?
Yeah.
Mm,
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
But onto another champion. Oh, let's see what Michael's saying in here. So the way I feel like I've seen Roman on SmackDown more than Logan since he won the US title, which is actually kind of crazy to think about. I don't think it's actually true, but that's how I feel. Well, funny that you bring that up, Michael, because up next we are talking about the Fatal 4-Way for the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns defending against LA Knight, Randy Orton, and AJ Styles. This one, I don't think it's as predictable as you think it might be.
No, I was going to say, I don't think it's going to be predictable. Like, it is predictable in the fact that it's going to be LA Knight or AJ Styles taking the pin, as it should be, too.
I would say AJ Styles more
Probably.
than LA Knight, but yes.
Like, people giving me shit for this. But, like, there's a story for Randy to win it here. Man, and, I mean, I'm going to choose Randy, except for what I think is going to happen at WrestleMania. I am going to choose Randy because if your plan is Roman and Rock, you don't necessarily need a title for that. Randy Orton gets his 15-time. Cody Rhodes wins Elimination Chamber. Cody Rhodes then goes on. Randy Orton at first they're all nice, whatever, reliving their legacy. Randy turns. Cody gets to finish his story at WrestleMania and win the WWE Championship. Roman and Rock can do their own thing. You know, I think it solves both problems, but I know some people will disagree with that. So, like, Randy Orton, there's a case here for Randy Orton to win. You know, do I think the more likely option is Roman? Yes, but there's a case to be made for Randy Orton, so I'm going to pick Randy Orton.
And honestly, I'm picking Randy Orton too, because I mean the thing is, in a multi-man match, Roman is protected. One,
exactly.
Two, what does it take away if Randy Orton is the one to end the historic reign, because he's quite literally a living, breathing legend?
Because people think that it's anticlimactic, that that's not the way to end Roman's historic reign.
Well, you've been pussyfooting around for 4 years now. He has to lose the title somehow, and apparently you don't want him pinned or fucking submitted, so part of my French. You kind of have to go this route. Yeah, is it hokey? Sure. Are they going to try to weasel saying, oh, well, he gets a rematch and everything too? Maybe that's when Rock screws him at the Chamber.
That's what I was going to say, that Rock or Cody, you know, that's what my theory was too. You know, Randy Roman rematch at Chamber. Bloodline's probably going to interfere. Then you either have the Rock or Cody, or Rock and Cody help Randy retain, or just fend off the Bloodline. Like,
no, there's got to be mayhem and foolishness.
It's there. Nobody sees the vision, though. I've gotten shit. I mean,
we see the vision.
Yeah.
Like-minded individuals, you'd love to see it.
I think the title matches are either going to be Randy and Roman, or Randy and Cody for the title, or Rock and Roman for the title. Man, but if they do Roman and Cody again, Cody needs to win. Like, Cody needs to.
I don't think they're going to do Roman versus Cody again. Honestly, I feel like
I don't think so
versus
either.
Roman does not need a championship. There
but
is
also
enough.
Rock and Roman on WrestleMania 40, not 41.
No, on WrestleMania 40, Rock and Roman competing for who is the true tribal chief.
Yeah.
Like, there's enough grandeur and build that you could do just within the Anoa'i family on its own. Championships be damned. You want to talk about how Cody is on the cover of 2K24, like how they're really feeding into the finishing the story narrative. There's a hell of a lot more of a story that you could probably build with him and Randy Orton than you can with him and Roman Reigns right now, regardless of who's on what brand, because they go back just that far.
That's what I'm saying. Thank you for seeing the vision.
I mean, we're talking about interactions on screen that run back 17 years when Cody first debuted with Dusty to face Randy Orton. That was before even aligning with him to form legacy with Ted DiBiase and Manu. Like, we're going for the deep cuts, and I think new Randy Orton.
I think so too. And in the event that it's not, and Roman keeps the title, and it's Rock and Roman, it becomes very clear at that point that they are keeping that title on Roman to beat Hogan's record. So if it's Rock and Roman for the title, Roman is retaining and is not losing it until the very least September, October. So maybe Crown Jewel at the, like... But I think it makes more sense to have Randy win it. They like you said, they have that history. You don't need a title for Rock and Roman. You
And
don't.
honestly, I don't think I could do another year of Roman just
I
having
can't
the belt.
either. However, if Roman retains tonight and it's Rock and Roman at Mania, Roman's winning, and there's no way they're having him lose before beating Hulk at that point because they've already come that far.
Well, also, side question: how long do you think Roman's entrance is going to be tonight?
I already said this, and people are like, it's only a 4-match card. The men's Rumble is going to be about an hour 15. Women's Rumble probably hour 5, including entrances. Entrances for Roman's match is probably going to take 16, 17 minutes for all 4 of them combined, plus at least 30 minutes. So that's already 2.5 hours right there. 2 hours and 40 minutes plus Logan and whatever. Roman, I think, is going to be at least 10 minutes, considering the length of Tropicana Field at the Rumble, the ramp. Randy's going to take his time. LA Knight might run down there a little bit. AJ Styles, I think, is going to take his time. But yeah, Randy and Roman are definitely going to take their time to getting to the ring tonight.
Yeah. So. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, like, if we have a pay-per-view that ends in 3 hours for WWE.
I think it's going to be about 3 hours and 20 minutes, honestly. Yeah. And it makes sense. So I'm not mad at this 4-match card because any Roman match is at least going to be a half hour plus probably 15 minutes for entrances. So that's already 45 minutes. So.
And then one other wild question, just for playing devil's advocate. Do we think there's a cash-in attempt tonight?
No, I would be the only way there's a cash in tonight is if Randy Orton wins. They're not going to cash in on Roman. The only way they have a cash in is if Randy wins. But that's screwed. I don't see Damian Priest cashing in on the Universal Championship.
No, that's fair.
I don't. But if there is, then it's going to be only if Randy wins, because they're not going to have him cash in on Roman Reigns.
Unless they go complete left field, LA Knight wins and he gets cashed in on, but then that messes up everything for WrestleMania.
Yeah,
so I think as long as Damian is Senor Money in the Bank, he's probably going to be gunning for the World Heavyweight title.
I don't think Damian's. I don't think we're going to get a cash in until after WrestleMania, until we know like what Seth Rollins' status is and shit. We're not that gives Damian like a 2.5 month window then to do something after WrestleMania.
I also feel like he's not going to cash in while he's still the tag team champion either.
Yeah, that is true.
So, but yes, so I mean, that is our non-Rumble matches for predictions. So let's move into the 30-man Royal Rumble match. So let me pull this up. I want to see who we have announced for this match so far already. Mm-hmm. So announced for the men's Royal Rumble so far, we have Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Gunther, Chad Gable, Otis, Akira Tozawa, Kofi Kingston, Damian Priest, Santos Escobar, Carlito, Grayson Waller, R-Truth, Jimmy Uso, and Austin Theory. So that is 17 so far. Mm-hmm. I'm sure we could fill in some gaps. We're probably going to see Xavier Woods, 18. Probably going to see Jey Uso, 19. I mean, we could probably see other folks in here as well. So
Finn Balor,
yes. Dominic, 21. I would say all members of the Judgment Day are going to be in this match.
I don't think JD's going to be in it, honestly.
I think JD's going to be in it, so he'll be 22. Rhea on a whim could be 23 as a surprise, which would be nice to have yet another woman in the men's Royal Rumble match to be number 5. So we would have Chyna, Karma, Beth Phoenix, and Nia Jax. But what I want to think about is, who do we think might be a surprise tonight?
So we're not going to dwell on the news, but with Brock now being out, apparently they might have an NXT person come in. An extra NXT person. Mm-hmm. I think Carmelo is almost a lock to be in this. He should be anyways. I think Carmelo was going to be in it anyways. But if you have an extra spot open, a Braun Breaker makes sense. because he's going, he again, he's on that same level with Carmella where they've been in NXT, they've had teases on the main roster and stuff. So Braun Breaker, I think from NXT, I think we'll get at most 2 NXT. Go ahead.
For the NXT, there is not a snowball's chance in hell that Trick Williams is out in the Royal Rumble, especially after the pop he got last night. I could see him in the Royal Rumble, and I could see them having Booker T on commentary as a guest commentator for the Men's Rumble so they could get his entrance in.
I mean, I would love to see Trick Williams in it.
Trick is so
I just
over
think
right now.
I just think the men's I think we're only gonna have 3 surprise entrants. Last year I don't think the only surprise entrant last year was Booker T. If I'm right.
I think you are right.
So I think at most
check.
we're gonna be getting 3. Okay, technically not 3 because I think we're definitely getting a Braun Strowman return. I have Braun coming in at number 30. I think I would love to see a Big E return, but it depends if he's cleared.
Yeah, my 3 surprises I think would be Trick. I think Rhea Ripley's gonna weasel her way into this match somehow. And I think Big E returning in his hometown in the Royal Rumble after almost 2 years out of action. Even if he doesn't win the Rumble, that is such a beautiful story within itself.
Yeah.
And especially having all 3 members of the New Day in the same ring at the same time for the first time in years, it's going to be very emotional.
If it is Big E too, because I had thought, again, before all the stuff that happened, that it might have been Brock and Gunther at WrestleMania, with Brock now taken out. I think somebody like a Big E or a Braun Strowman targeting Gunther would make sense. And also right now, New Day is in a feud with Imperium. So if Big E is cleared, makes sense for Big E to go after Gunther. If not, then I think Braun Strowman would be one to, in how I envision the final 5 going down, I have Braun Strowman targeting Gunther. Andrade is also one who's like pretty much confirmed but not confirmed to be going back to WWE. So if he's
that would be an interesting layer with the whole LWO and like Legado del Fantasma stuff. So
yeah, I mean, Zelina has that history, obviously. So that, again, that's another possibility too. I don't know if Rey Mysterio is cleared. That would be, getting some revenge there. But a dark horse one that's like not expected. Not NXT, not like a return or anything. I guess it would be a return, but like, wait, I want Bad News Barrett, man.
Do you think Wade would wrestle again?
Yes, he would. He's teased it before that he would want.
He's always been in ring shape, though.
Yeah, he's only 43 years old. Booker T last year was on NXT. Granted, they were also in Texas, but Booker T was on commentary for NXT, and he entered last year's Rumble. We've had JBL enter. We've had Jerry Lawler enter. We've had Booker enter twice while he's been a commentator.
We've had Michael Cole enter.
We have as well. Or it could be a Pat McAfee. I think it would be cool to get Pat or Wade. Wade has teased that he wants to wrestle Austin Theory. So like that would be something to go after him. I think a Bad News Barrett or like a Pat McAfee, I think are actual genuine surprise that seems reasonable.
Yeah, I think like definitely using what you got. I don't know of any outsiders that I could honestly see. Like if we were to have like a Forbidden Door entry, like I really can't think. So Gabriel Mayer says, anybody excited for the Royal Rumble? Hell yes. It is one of our favorite shows of the year.
It is my favorite show of the year.
Yeah, no, like I'm very excited for the Rumble. So who do you think is going to win this one?
I want you to go first because I don't because I have theory of how I see the ending going.
So here's my theory. We might have the same theory. I'm going to say CM Punk is going to win this Rumble and challenge Seth Rollins at Mania.
Yes.
So we're going to probably have some form of an Elimination Chamber match for the men to compete for the Universal title. Yes. I would hope it's interpromotional. So 3 from Raw, 3 from SmackDown. So that could be how you get to Cody getting to finish his story for the other title.
Okay.
So, I mean, my main thing is going to be just making sure that we can get whatever we need to storyline wise and making sure it makes sense. I don't think we're just going to have something out of left field completely just fuck shit up. So
No, and I have that same theory. I also see CM Punk winning and challenging Seth Rollins, and then Cody winning Chamber to go after whoever the Universal Champion is, whether it's Randy or Roman. If in the event that Seth is not cleared, I think Punk obviously would then get a championship match, and they'll probably have like a 4-way or something to determine who would face Punk. I think then if Seth is not cleared, you pivot to Punk and Drew. They already had that tiff going back and forth, and also Drew's very wild card, and he's made it very clear that he doesn't like CM Punk. So in the event that Seth is not cleared, I think Drew is a reliable and what's the word? Believable opponent for CM Punk. I think the final 2 is going to be Drew and Punk, actually. I think okay, this is just how I see it.
So I can see the final 4 being Gunther, Cody. So that's a callback to last year, plus Drew and Punk.
So, okay. So I have 4 of those in my final 5. I don't know who would eliminate who, but I have the final 5 being Gunther, Drew, CM Punk, and Cody, but also Braun Strowman. Because I think Braun and Gunther might have a thing. I don't know who would eliminate who first or whatever. But I see those 2 then going out, and then the final 3 being Cody, Drew, and Punk. Shinsuke Nakamura is waiting in the wings, and he has been hell-bent on ruining Cody's story. He's saying he's going to finish his story before Cody does. I don't think that's going to happen, but it has been implied that Shinsuke is probably going to be targeting Cody. We haven't seen him wrestle. I think Shinsuke is going to come out of nowhere and eliminate Cody at the final 3. I think that makes sense. He's been making these promos still kind of going at Cody, but we haven't seen him. I think that's a sneaky Shinsuke move to do, is to eliminate Cody at the final 3. It also protects Cody a bit because he didn't get legitly eliminated. And then it's down to Drew and Punk eliminates Drew.
Yeah. So
that's just how I see it in my head.
So, I mean, we have plenty of options though. So I'm excited. I feel like it's actually harder to predict the men's Rumble than the women's Rumble this year, which is nice. So
we're going to disagree on the women's Rumble.
Well, I mean, let's not waste any time. Let's get
I'm actually shocked that we have had
Rumble match.
I'm actually shocked that we have had the same so far. This is where I'm pretty certain that we're going to disagree, though.
So before we get into our thoughts, let's run down who's actually been confirmed for the Women's Royal Rumble. We have
10,
Bayley,
I think, so far.
Nia Jax, yes, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Maxine Dupree, Ivy Nile, Alba Fire, Shotzi, Zelina Vega, and Michin. So
and I'm not Isla Dawn.
Well, not Isla Dawn so far, at least.
No, Nick Aldis told her she's not in it.
Oh.
That's why they've had a tiff the last
that explains the tweet
24 hours. Yeah.
Well, so no Isla Dawn, so that opens up a spot, which is nice. Some of the unannounced ones that I think will definitely be in there. I feel like as far as people on the actual roster, Natalia's definitely going to be in it.
Oh yeah.
I feel like Zoe Stark and Shayna are going to be in it.
Yes.
Chelsea and Piper are going to be in it.
Yes.
So here's my thing. I do not think that either Tana Chance and Kaden Carter nor Asuka and Kyrie are going to be in this match.
I mean, it still plays into my theory of what I think is going to happen regardless.
Yeah. So
Selena's also kind of confirmed herself because she had said she had orange gear. Go on.
Wait, who has orange gear?
Zelina said that she had orange gear.
No, Zelina drew a number already.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, her and Michin did. No, my theory is that Bayley is going to be the only member of Damage Control in the Royal Rumble to do it on her own. So even before we get into who I think is going to win, I kind of want to talk about who we think could be some surprise entrants in this match. So I feel like we're probably going to have some people from NXT, which is going to be fun. Yeah. I feel like Tiffany Stratton is surefire going to be in this match, and she's going to do great things.
Yes.
I would love to see Kalani Jordan come in this match and kind of have her little Naomi Kofi Kingston moment like we saw her have with the Battle Royal on NXT. Doesn't necessarily have to be a big pop. I feel like her little bit of athleticism would be nice to get her over, kind of like how when Katana was in the 2019 Royal Rumble and she had her version of the Kofi spot as well. I feel like another one that I would love to see as far as NXT goes that we have not seen in a long time I want Mako
Mako?
Satomura in the Royal Rumble.
Oh shit.
I would eat that up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Give me Mako Satomura in the Royal Rumble. That would be a huge pot. Or a huge pop, not a huge pot. No huge pot. He's not in WWE anymore. Let's see. So returns that I would love to see. I mean, we talked about this. Olivia Morgan, honorary Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Liv has to be coming back for the Rumble.
Yeah.
I would love to see her back in the Rumble. Someone that I would love to see back as far as a return to WWE as well. Honestly, I feel like this is Wendy Chu is another good one that I would love to see back. That I don't know if she's still injured or anything. That would be a nice surprise, but I feel like this is the best year that we can probably get AJ Lee in the Rumble. I feel like if anything, AJ is probably candidate number 1 to be number 30.
Maybe. I have another vision of who number 30 is going to be.
Yeah, I see that. I can see that we finally get Naomi/Trinity back in a WWE ring.
I can agree with that.
That would be a huge pop, regardless of what number she's going to be in. Let's see who else could, in theory, come back tonight. It would be nice to see one of the moms come back in the ring. I could see Carmella coming back tonight for a Rumble.
She gave birth in what, October?
Yeah. If not, I feel like there's going to be one new mom in the Rumble. If it's not Carmella, honestly, it wouldn't. I could see it being Kelly Kelly. And she had twins. So, I mean, especially with Caitlyn being heavily rumored, I would love to see the OG NXT 3 in the Rumble. So, like Naomi, AJ, and Caitlyn, like against maybe Becky and Bailey in there, kind of have a stare down of like NXT before NXT. So that would be something cool. I feel like, are we gonna get a Forbidden Door? Let's see.
It's
Pluggo,
reported. Hi, Pluggo.
Pluggo, welcome to the stream. A Forbidden Door entry this year. So I have 2 that I would love to see. One has kind of been hinted at on Twitter in the last week, not necessarily by outlets, but
yeah,
I would love to see Gail Kim in a women's Royal Rumble match, especially with how much her and Natty have been interacting. Her and Tyson Kidd have been interacting. Peacemaker, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. God, Gail Kim in the Rumble would be awesome. I would love to see her come out to Puppet on a String. Whether or not Jordan Grace also could potentially break that Forbidden Door, I feel like would be a nice surprise. We've seen the Knockouts World title represented in the Rumble before, and never say never. But is it bad that part of me is still secretly holding out hope for Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks?
No, it's not bad because she's 6th in the betting odds right now.
Which is saying something, because Mom's been the word since the beginning, actually since she started training for her return to being in the ring. No one knows where the hell she's going. I mean, people can say like she's likely to sign in one company or another, but
I mean, from what I heard, I don't foresee a WWE return happening right now.
Yeah. I mean, she's in the business of making money, so I say go wherever you can make the most money and be happy.
Not to say she couldn't, because we saw Christian make a WWE return and then was an AEW the next month. So not to say it couldn't happen like that, but
oh, wait a minute. ODB has said that she got called in for a past Rumble. Could they call her tonight? ODB in a Royal Rumble would be fun. And I feel like if anything, Tampa's so close to Orlando, like they might give her a good pop for like OG TNA. I don't know. I feel like Gail Kim would probably be the return I'm looking forward to the most this year, of someone that's like unexpected, or another one that I could see returning, or 2 people that I could see returning this year that have not returned since they first left WWE would be either Eve Torres. I would love to see Eve Torres, or I would love to see Stacy Keibler.
Yeah.
Especially Stacy going into the Hall of Fame last year. I could see her doing a Rumble stint. You don't really have to do much in a Rumble.
I think like last year, we're only going to have 1 legend returning. And by that, I mean, like, they're not like an active wrestler. Or at least not active in the last couple of years.
I mean, Michelle McCool is always on standby, so she's in there, I won't be mad.
Yeah, I think the only legend that we're going to be getting is Caitlyn. She was an alternate. This is public knowledge. She was an alternate in 2022. I've also been saying it for a couple of years. Like, I want, we've gotten pretty much like a lot of other people from that era, but like Eve would be great too as well. But I think realistically, I think also though Eve was dealing with some like health, like some scary health stuff a couple months ago, or at least last year or something.
Yeah,
So I
no,
don't
I
know.
think she's better now because she ended up having
Okay.
an explant of like her
Okay.
implants. So
Yeah, so I don't know where she stands. I think Caitlyn is more likely. Um, so I think Caitlyn is likely going to be the only legend.
I mean, as long as
Um,
Caitlyn comes out to hire, I don't care.
yeah. Oh, I like
So.
spin the bottle. I like higher though too, but I like both. Um, um, I mean, Jordan Grace has been, reported. I also think Trinity is coming back. You did not
Trinity
say
comes
Jade.
back
You
as
did not say
Naomi.
Jade Card. Trinity probably comes back as
Oh
Naomi.
my
You did
god,
not say
Jade
Jade
Cargill, I feel
Cargill.
like it's persona non grata. She's gonna debut
I
tonight.
mean, she is reported to be there, yes. So is I think this was happening anyway, but Tiffany Stratton, I have coming out at number 2, with Becky Lynch, personally. The story's there.
So I think my number 1 and number 2 would be Bianca and Jade.
I think Jade comes in between 23 to 26.
Hmm.
I think I don't want to spoil anything yet. I think the WrestleMania match is going to be Bianca and Jade.
But is there going to be a championship for it?
We'll talk about that later.
Ooh.
I
But
think
oh, go ahead.
NXT, I mean, Blair Davenport was also reported to be heading to Tampa. I think Lash Legend would also be a cool moment. We saw her, with Otis and everything. Mako would be amazing. But I think so realistically, Liv Morgan, Jade Cargill, Trinity, Tiffany, Blair, Caitlyn or Eve. Did I already say Jordan?
No, you didn't, but you'll say it now.
Jordan, Sonya Deville.
I don't think Sonya's cleared.
Apparently she is, because she had gear made. Her gear maker posted it.
I mean, if she's
Apparently
back,
she
that's
is.
awesome.
Apparently
I would
she
love to
is.
see whatever happens with her, Chelsea, and
So
Piper.
yeah, I think in Lash, I think we'll get 8 or 9 surprise entrants.
I still think AJ Lee is our number 30.
I think Raquel is number 30. Oh, I guess Raquel hasn't been gone that long to where it would be really a surprise. But I have Raquel going in. Whatever, we'll just get to it. I have Raquel going in at number 30. So I have Final 4 being Becky, Nia, Raquel, and Jade. I know you're not going to agree with this. I think Becky is going to start off the match. Tiffany. Becky's Iron Woman. I think Naomi/Trinity is also. I don't think she's going to win. I think she'll enter early, and they'll give her the second longest time in the Rumble, to give her something. I think Becky is going to throw out Nia. Nia, out of spite, is going to just eliminate Becky while she's already been eliminated herself. Then it'll be down to Raquel and Jade. And I have Jade throwing Raquel out and winning. And then listen, hear me out, okay? People are saying Bayley. I don't think you necessarily need a title for Bayley and Io. I think that either Dakota, if Dakota's cleared, whether she's not, or Kabuki Warriors are going to eliminate Bayley from the Royal Rumble. And then that's going to spark a whole feud with Bayley and Io. Bayley could cost Io the title, give it to Bianca, set up Jade Bianca at Mania, and then you finally get a singles non-title women's match at WrestleMania for Bayley and Io. I think that's strong enough. That story is strong enough to not necessarily have a championship. So I mean, I have Jade and Bianca and Bayley and Io. I have Jade winning. It could also be Bayley though. But I have Jade winning. Maybe bold and maybe overly optimistic, but if Jade's ready, I say pull the trigger on her. I say if she's entering, you either have to give her the most eliminations, or you have to have her win.
No, I could see most eliminations. I don't think Jade's winning the Rumble. I don't even think Bianca's in contention for a championship going into WrestleMania this year. Do I think she'll have a singles match without a championship? Yes, and I think that Jade versus Bianca is that match. But with the way that they're setting everything up, I feel like this is Bayley's year to win the Rumble. And if can keep going out with the bravado of like, oh, Damage Control is going to come for Rhea Ripley next. So they could have all the championships. But the problem is with her being slowly pushed out, either Damage Control is going to turn on her or Bayley's going to say, fuck you guys, and then go for Io to set up that championship match. And then one thing leads to another, whether it stays a singles match between Bayley and Io, or if maybe something happens in Damage Control, it's just like, you know what? If you want to get to Io, you're going to have to get through all of us, and Bayley runs the gauntlet before WrestleMania to get in. But I feel like this is the year where Bayley is a very likely, and I would say deserving Rumble winner. I could see realistically coming down to the final four. It would probably be Bayley, Nia, Becky, and then one other person. I feel like if anything, if Naomi Trinity does return tonight, she would be in that final four.
I think she would last until final 6-ish.
I don't think Jade would be in the last like 4 or 5.
I don't know. I think they could give Jade a hot start. I'm going to stick with it. If I'm wrong, I will not be mad at a Bayley win whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably going to be happy at most possibilities of the Women's Rumble. Hey, Millie. Millie's saying, I've been saying Coda's definitely up to something.
That's why I think if she is Coda's cleared, I think they're going to eliminate Bayley from the Rumble.
I mean, my thing is like, I feel like Dakota, like I'm still a firm believer that no other member of Damage Control is going to be in the Rumble to make Bayley go through it on her own. Do I think that Coda can be cleared on SmackDown and attack her and like cause the rift? Absolutely. But I don't think that any other member of Damage Control needs to be in this Rumble this year, especially with 3 out of the 4 of them being champions and 1 potentially still being injured. And then boom, Julia versus Bayley at Elimination Chamber. If they're just making a Super Joshi stable, like hell fucking yes. Give me Julia in a WWE ring versus Bayley, because I know that Bayley can have a banger of a match with Julia. And it's a great introduction to Julia for a WWE crowd, let alone the fact that it would be in a massive stadium in Australia.
I think it's going to be Io and Bianca at Chamber.
So we get Jade in the final 4, but not the final 2. Thinking Bayley or Liv wins the Rumble. I feel like Becky's definitely not winning. You can definitely, I feel like
Iron Woman. I think she's Iron Woman.
2 cases can be made for the winners, and I feel like Liv or Bayley would be good winners. I just don't know if they're gonna do Bayley or Liv versus Rhea for this Mania, or
I think Becky wins Chamber and challenges Rhea.
I feel like you could still have Rhea versus Liv as a singles.
No, it could. I mean, it also comes down to who's challenging Rhea at Chamber. I didn't think about this, but Nia Jax technically was born in Sydney, Australia. She is Australian, so like, and they had that thing. It could be Nia and Rhea, or
I feel like a Nia Rhea singles at Chamber would be good,
or maybe it could be Liv and Rhea. You know, I think Becky wins Chamber though, so we're in agreement on the matches we think are going to happen at Mania. It's just a matter of who has the title. It's just a matter of who has the title. You know,
I don't know if we need a triple threat though. So Dakota should make it a surprise return. I don't know.
I think if Dakota is in this match, if she is cleared and enters, she has to eliminate Bayley. Otherwise, it just seems like a little bit of a waste if she's in it and doesn't eliminate Bayley.
Yeah, if Dakota is in this match, then Bayley's definitely not winning.
Yeah.
But if Dakota's not in the match, then I think Bayley is definitely winning.
We'll see. I will not be mad at a Bayley win. I'm gonna go big in Jade Cargill though.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Bayley. I'm gonna do it for the Latinas.
Who do you have? I know who I have at number 1 and number 2. Who do you have number 1 and number 2?
I think Bianca's gonna be number 1. And I feel like if they want to,
did you see her thing yesterday that had the number 7? She spoiled her number accidentally.
I think it's a red herring. I think she would be
maybe.
So I think Bianca's going to be 1, and then if they're going to really make something out of Jade, she's probably going to be number 2, or Becky's going to be number 2, and they could have a callback to Bianca versus Becky because they haven't touched since the draft.
I think the callback is going to be Tiffany and Becky. Or, so I had another theory. I think for me, Becky is going to be number one and be the Iron Woman. I think Tiffany would make sense. Or, I know you said they might not be in it. Or a member of Damage Control, like a Kairi Sane, would make sense because Becky has so much history with Damage Control. So I could also see it being like a Becky and a Kairi at 1 and 2.
I just don't think the tag team champs are going to be in the match.
You don't think Asuka's going to be in the Royal Rumble?
I don't think she would. Not that they wouldn't be nice to have in the match. They don't need it right now, especially because they're not looking to tell a single story anyways. The whole thing's about, okay, we've done our part. Now it's time for Bayley to step up.
I don't know. And you had AJ Lee at number 30?
Yeah. Like, I'm honestly, like, I'm never, like, firm about a lot of things. I'm firm that that's going to be number 30 just for the pop that it's going to get.
I have Raquel. Ironically, I didn't mean to do this, like, because they're a real life couple, but I have Raquel and Braun being number 30 in the women's and men's.
If Raquel comes back, she could be number 27, which is, like, one of the historically, like, good spots. Like, give her a little bit of lore, but I don't think she's going to be number 30. Like, that would be almost as bad as them botching Nia's music last year.
Oh my God, I was there. I was there. We were like, wait, what is going on?
Yeah. So, but yeah, that'll do it as far as getting into the Royal Rumble tonight. Ella, thank you for being here. It's always fun getting to talk wrestling with you on a platform, off a platform. What do you got going on?
I will be on I'll be live tweeting the Rumble for SEScoops and on my own. I will also be on another post show for OLE podcast after. I haven't done a post show in a long time. I think the last one I did was NXT Battleground last year, and it was with Astrid. I think that was the last.
What was the one that we did? It was us, Astrid.
It was in the morning. It was for Mania. I'm pretty
no,
sure. And
there was like What show did you sleep over at my house for?
Oh yeah, you're right. Fastlane? Payback?
Yeah, I think it was Fastlane. No,
Fastlane?
No, because Payback, I was in Denver for it.
Fastlane.
It was Fastlane.
Never mind. My brain. I don't do a lot of them. So yes, I will.
Carla makes an appearance. Honestly, I don't think so, Michael. With how bad her knees are, I love Kong, but I don't think so.
Yes, you can find me on OLE Pod. I'll be posting a link on Twitter, like it says right here. You can follow me at It's Ella J. If you go to the link in my bio, all my links to all my projects and podcasts are all in one convenient place.
But yeah, at OLE Podcasts, our friends over there, Astrid, I mean, stay tuned because you never know what could be happening on an OLE podcast in the future. But yes, I mean, you already know where to find me. You're already here. Jose on the Air here. Jose on the Air Twitch. Jose on the Air Games on YouTube. JoseOnTheAir.com just has every damn link. So, I mean, go support there. Who knows when we're going to get into some more pre-recorded episodes of the pod, but you never know. It is always fun to do these little lives. I think it's been nice to kind of have more live streams again. It's been a while since I've really gotten into my live era. So yeah, let us know what you guys are thinking on social media. Tag us. Let us know how you plan on watching the Rumble, like what your takeaways are going to be at the end of the night. I'm excited, and we will see you all very soon.
So, if Randy Orton becomes the new undisputed WWE champion, I'm going to be blowing up the timeline. Just keep that in mind.
If Randy Orton wins the Universal title tonight, I can step outside and hear Ella from 6 miles away screaming.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. But yeah, thank you all for being here, and we will catch you next time. Bye, everybody.